Okay, so have you ever felt like there's got to be more to life? Like you have all this potential just waiting to be unlocked.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Well, that's what we're diving into today.
Awesome.
This guide we found claims to have the answers.
Okay.
And honestly, it's got me thinking differently about success already.
How so?
It's not about like the corner office or fancy cars anymore.
Ah, I see.
It's about defining success on your own terms.
Yeah, that's so important. It's amazing how often we get caught up in chasing these like external markers of success,
Totally.
without stopping to ask ourselves if they actually align with what truly matters to us.
Right. Like we're all trying to keep up with the
Yeah,
Joneses.
exactly. And this guy just throws out the rulebook and says, hold on,
Yeah.
what would make you feel truly successful? Not your family, not society, you.
I love that. It's like ditching the comparison game entirely.
Totally.
So instead, it's about figuring out what your dream life actually looks like.
Exactly.
And the first step, according to this guide, is surprisingly simple.
Okay, what is it?
Write it down. Actually take the time to define success in your own words.
Interesting. It's like getting those aspirations out of your head and onto paper. I like that. The guide encourages you to ask yourself, what brings you genuine joy?
Oh, yeah.
What gives you that deep sense of accomplishment? It even gives examples like
Okay.
creating art
Uh-huh.
or solving complex problems.
Yeah.
Or even just making someone's day brighter.
It's really eye-opening to see how different success can look
Totally.
when you ditch those conventional definitions.
For sure.
It's so refreshing to be reminded that success can be anything that resonates with you.
Absolutely.
But okay, so once you've got that vision, how do you actually make it happen?
That's where this idea of setting achievable goals comes in.
Right.
The guide uses this analogy of building a muscle.
Okay.
You don't go from zero to hero overnight, right?
No way.
You start with manageable steps, these achievable goals that build on each other.
So it's like instead of getting overwhelmed by like the enormity of your dream,
Right.
you're breaking it down into those bite-sized pieces.
Basically.
Makes so much sense.
Yeah.
But what about those times when you hit a wall?
Hmm.
We all face setbacks, right?
Oh, for sure.
How does the guide address that?
It doesn't sugarcoat it.
Okay, good.
The guide acknowledges that setbacks are definitely part of the journey,
Yeah.
but the real key is developing persistence.
Which, let me tell you, isn't always easy.
It's not.
I remember when I was first starting out, I was working on this project,
Mm-hmm.
and I hit this major roadblock.
Oh, no.
I was totally ready to give up.
It happens.
But then I remembered something my mentor always said.
What was that?
They always told me, you're going to face challenges, but it's how you handle them that defines you.
So true.
So I took a step back, reassessed,
Yeah.
and eventually found a way through.
Nice.
It definitely wasn't easy.
I bet.
But that feeling of accomplishment, when I overcame that obstacle,
Oh, yeah.
totally worth every bit of effort.
It is. It really is. And that's exactly what this guide is getting at.
I see that.
It's not about avoiding challenges. It's about building that resilience.
Mhm.
It's like developing that mental muscle that helps you push through, learn from those setbacks, and come out stronger on the other side.
Right. You've got to have that grit.
Right.
But it's not just about grit, is it?
No, it's not.
There has to be something fueling that persistence.
Right.
You have to be passionate about what you're doing.
Absolutely.
And that brings us to the really exciting part, uncovering your passion.
Love it.
This guide lays out a really intriguing 3-step process for doing just that.
Okay, I'm interested. What's the first step?
The first step is all about experimentation.
Okay.
The guide actually encourages you to be a bit of an explorer.
I like that.
Like try new things, dabble in different hobbies,
Yeah,
even step outside your comfort zone.
I think that's key. You
Okay.
never know what might spark your interest.
Right. It's like that saying, you don't know what you don't know. Maybe you've always secretly wanted to like learn to code
Yeah.
or try rock climbing
Yeah.
or even just take a different route on your morning walk.
Totally.
It's all about opening yourself up to those new possibilities.
It is.
And as you're exploring, the second step is crucial.
Code?
Paying attention to what excites you.
Ah.
What
Yeah.
are those activities where time seems to fly by?
Uh-huh.
What leaves you feeling energized and eager for more?
I get that. For me, it's like when I'm lost in a good book
Oh, yes.
or having a really deep conversation.
Totally.
I can completely lose track of time when I'm fully engaged like that.
Me too.
That's a powerful sign that you're tapping into something that resonates with you on a deeper level.
Hmm.
This guide even mentions this concept of flow state,
Oh,
that feeling of being completely absorbed in an activity.
oh, yeah.
It's not just about enjoyment. It's about that feeling of being truly engaged where everything else just melts away.
You're in the zone.
Exactly.
So we're experimenting, we're noticing what excites us.
Right.
And then the third step, according to this guide, is reflecting on our strengths.
Okay.
What are we naturally good at? Where do we tend to excel?
Interesting. This step is all about connecting the dots.
I see that.
The guide suggests that our passions are often linked to our talents.
Hmm.
Like maybe you've always had a knack for problem solving,
Mhm.
or you're a natural storyteller,
Yeah.
or people always come to you for advice because you have this incredible ability to listen and empathize.
Like those things we do effortlessly, almost without even realizing it.
Right.
But others might find challenging.
Totally.
And sometimes those inherent strengths can point us towards activities or even career paths where we can truly thrive.
Absolutely.
But what about those moments when that inner critic pops up and says, what if I'm not good enough?
That inner critic,
It can be a real roadblock.
especially when you're trying something new.
Right.
This guide acknowledges that this fear is common,
Yeah, for sure.
but it emphasizes that passion often grows with practice.
Hmm.
It's not about being perfect from day one.
Definitely not.
It's about giving yourself permission to start, to learn, to make mistakes, and to improve along the way.
I love that.
It's about the journey,
It is.
not the destination.
You got it.
Yeah, it's so easy to get caught up in that whole expert thing right away.
Totally.
But the guide makes a good point. Everyone starts somewhere.
Right.
It's that initial spark,
Yeah.
that willingness to just try it out
Mhm.
that often leads to mastery.
So true. So much of it is about silencing that inner critic, right?
Really.
Like focusing on just enjoying the process,
Yeah.
the learning and growth that comes from pursuing something you love.
I love that. But okay, let's say you've gone through those steps.
Yeah.
You've experimented, you've identified what gets you fired up, you've recognized your strengths, and you've even managed to quiet that inner critic.
Right.
What then?
Yeah. How do you actually integrate this passion into your life in a way that feels good?
Right. Well, that's where this guy gets really practical.
Okay, good. I like practical.
It shifts gears and offers some concrete advice on how to build what it calls sustainable success with your passion.
Okay, sustainable success. I like that. So we're talking goals, timelines, actionable steps,
Exactly.
like turning that passion into something tangible, something you can actively work towards.
You got it. The guide even suggests using this framework called SMART goals.
Okay, I've heard of SMART goals.
Yeah, you probably have.
What is it again?
So it's specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound.
Right. It's like you're taking this abstract passion and giving it structure,
Exactly.
making it a part of your daily or weekly routine.
Absolutely. And I imagine this plan can look totally different for each person, right?
for sure.
Depending on their goals and their circumstances.
Right. It's not like a one-size-fits-all kind of...
Not at all. And that's why this next point is so important. Finding the balance between passion and practicality.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
The guide acknowledges that not everyone can or even wants to turn their passion into their main gig.
Right? Like not everyone's going to quit their day job and become a starving artist.
Exactly. Unless that truly aligns with their personal definition of success.
Right.
But the guide encourages you to find a way to incorporate your passion into your life
Mm-hmm.
in a way that feels both sustainable and fulfilling.
So it might be a side hustle for some people.
Yeah.
Or like carving out dedicated time each week for others.
Exactly.
And for others, it might even be finding ways to infuse their current work with their newfound passion,
Totally. It's all about finding that sweet spot.
where passion and practicality intersect.
You got it. And this guide emphasizes that there's no one right answer.
Right.
It's about finding what works for you,
Yeah.
what brings you joy and a sense of accomplishment
Mm-hmm.
without feeling overwhelming or creating pressure.
That's a good point, because sometimes even our passions can become stressful.
Totally, if we're not careful.
Yeah, for sure. Which leads to another point I found interesting. The guide's emphasis on staying open to change,
Oh, that's huge.
because our passions and our goals might evolve over time.
Right. Absolutely. What felt exciting and fulfilling a year ago might not hold the same allure today.
Exactly. So it's not about clinging to a specific vision.
Right.
It's more about being open to new possibilities,
Mm-hmm.
letting our passions guide us on this journey of discovery,
Mm-hmm.
even if it takes us in unexpected directions.
And often those unexpected detours can lead to the most rewarding experiences.
Totally.
Think of all the serendipitous moments, the chance encounters, those unexpected opportunities that arise when we're open to new things.
It's like that quote, life is what happens when you're busy making other plans.
Uh-huh. So true.
We can set goals and make plans,
Yeah,
but sometimes the best moments happen when we just let go a little
right.
and allow ourselves to be surprised by the journey.
I love that. As we're talking about this, I'm struck by how this guide sort of reframes the whole idea of success.
Really?
How so? It's not this static endpoint
I see what you mean.
or like a fixed destination we're all striving for.
Hmm.
It's more like a state of being,
Okay.
a way of approaching life with intention, curiosity, and a willingness to embrace the unknown.
I like that.
Yeah,
And it all circles back to that initial step, right?
it does.
Defining success on your own terms.
Exactly.
It's not about achieving someone else's version of success.
Nope.
It's about crafting a life that aligns with your values, your passions, and what truly brings you purpose.
Absolutely. It's about asking yourself,
Yeah.
what does a fulfilling, meaningful, successful life look like to me?
Hmm.
And then having the courage to pursue that vision.
Even if it means taking the road less traveled.
Exactly. It's funny how this guide started with this big, almost daunting question. How do you achieve success and discover your passion?
Right.
But then it breaks it all down
Yeah.
into these manageable steps, these
Yeah.
insightful nuggets that make it feel attainable.
Yeah, even exciting.
Totally.
Yeah.
What I appreciate most is how it empowers you to take control. It's like it's saying you have the power to define success, to discover your passion, and to create a life that reflects what truly matters to you.
That's so powerful.
Mm.
You know what? I think we've covered a lot of ground already.
We have.
But there's one last piece of advice from this guide that I think is worth highlighting.
Okay, let's hear it.
It's a question, actually.
Okay.
And I think it can really spark some reflection for our listener.
I love a good question. Lay it on us.
Okay, so get ready for this.
Yeah?
It asks, if you could pursue any activity without limitations, what would it be?
Wow. That really cuts to the chase, doesn't it? Strips away all the shoulds and have tos,
Right.
all those practical considerations.
Mhm.
And it forces you to confront that raw, unfiltered desire.
It's like imagine you had unlimited time,
Uh-huh.
unlimited resources,
Yeah,
zero fear of judgment or failure.
right.
What would you be doing?
What dream would you be chasing?
It's about tapping into that inner voice,
Exactly.
the one that often gets drowned out by the noise of everyday life.
Totally. Maybe it's rekindling a childhood passion that got pushed aside.
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe it's finally giving yourself permission to explore an idea that's been in the back of your mind.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
And what I love is that it doesn't stop at just identifying that passion.
Right.
It's a call to action.
It is.
It's like, okay, now that you know what it is, what's that first step you can take?
Hmm.
Even a tiny one,
Yeah.
to bring it a little closer to reality.
It's about turning that dream into a goal,
Right.
something you can actually work towards. Maybe that first step is just doing some research.
Yeah.
Or connecting with someone who's already doing that thing. Or
Yeah.
even just taking a few minutes each day to brainstorm some ideas.
You know, as we wrap up this deep dive, I can't help but feel inspired.
Me too.
This guide isn't just about finding your passion.
Right.
It's like fundamentally shifting how you view success.
I agree. It's about recognizing that success isn't this far-off destination.
Yeah.
It's a journey that you create one step at a time.
And it starts with that inner spark.
That passion that makes you feel alive.
It's about building a life that reflects your values, your passions, and what truly brings you purpose.
Absolutely. So there you have it. A deep dive into unlocking your potential, finding your passion, and building a life you truly love.
We hope this episode has given you some new tools and perspectives to help you on your journey.
We really do.
And remember, it's never too late to start chasing those dreams,
Never.
to rediscover what lights you up, and to create a life that feels both meaningful and authentically yours.
And who knows,
Yeah.
maybe along the way you'll uncover talents and abilities you never even knew you had.
Until next time, keep diving deep, keep exploring, and keep unlocking your amazing potential.